Hey guys, Nick. Thanks for tuning into Long Island Wargaming, and this is a 100-point game of X-Wing, and this is going to be Rich versus myself, and we're going to be doing Rebels versus Rebels. So I'm going to be fielding two Z95s with munitions, failsafe, and cluster missiles, so I have a nice little pack. And then I've got A-Wing, Sojin, I forget his name, but he's got the proton rocket. He's pretty simple. He just gets an extra agility dice, an extra defense die when he's within range one of an enemy, which is pretty useful. 4 defense die is pretty awesome. But the main person of this list is Tycho, and I've got him souped up with a proton rocket. He's got Daredevil, Push the Limit, and Experimental Interface, which allows him to essentially make 3 actions. And he's allowed to make actions while he has stress. So the only thing I really can't do is a K-turn, but it's not a big deal because if I need to, he can do a hard right 1, and then do Daredevil with Experimental Interface, which allows you to do an action on a card. So he could do a hard right, and then a hard right again, or a hard left, and essentially do a 180. And then if he decides to do a third action, it could be a boost. So then he can essentially do a 270. He can get pretty far around. My goal with him is to get him to at least 7 or 8 stress tokens, maybe maybe more, because really I'm not going to be doing any group maneuvers with him. It's just going to be stress, 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 and not worry about it because it's, he gets to make actions with stress. But that's my list. Let's go into Rich's. So he kind of does builds similar to what I like to do. He's got the Hawk with the Moldy Crow and the Blaster Turret, so he's able to get an extra, or he's able to keep the focus tokens. Unfortunately, he didn't have points for the recon specialist. I always prefer to have it on there. This way I can shoot and use it for shooting. He's got Dutch Vander with some torpedoes, ion turret, and R2-D2. It's a pretty standard build with R2 and Dutch with the ion cannon. And then he's got Nera, which is the build I like, with the 2 torpedoes and Deadeye and recon specialist. So you can shoot in all different directions with your secondary weapons. He does have the advanced torpedo, which is pretty nasty. So here's the battlefield. I've got Tycho on the left, Sojin or whatever on the right, and then the 2 Z95s in the middle. And then on top we've got Y-Wing, B-Wing, and HWK. So Rich moves up very slowly, and he actually jams them stealth with the barrel roll. This way he doesn't go up too quickly, because he just wants to save focus tokens on the HWK, and then stay back so he can get some target locks on my ships as we approach. I waste no time. I move up full and do a boost with the A-Wings. And then we move into the next turn. So you can see on the left here we have a target lock onto the HWK with, HWK target locks onto Tycho to the left. Tycho does a evade and a focus. I don't think I've got the second evade down there, so he's all stressed up already. The Z95s just get ready to target lock. I target lock the B-Wing with my Z, and then I get target locked by one of the other ships. And then you can see that the A-Wing's moving in pretty quick to the right there, so I move up full and then do a little boost. So the A-Wings are just so fast. I love them. So Tycho gets focus fired because he's the nasty ship. No one does damage except the B-Wing, and the B-Wing is able to sneak 1 damage through. So I've got 1 shield left and 2 hull. And from behind, Jammer Sojin, the A-Wing, is able to do 1 damage onto HWK. So I start getting away some hit points on him. So he's down to no shields, and he's got his 4 hull, I believe it is. So this is a pretty eventful turn for turn 2. So the A-Wing to the Z95 to the right with the focus token actually gets 2 hits onto the HWK, and Rich does not roll any evades. So I actually get 2 damage onto him, and then the golden target lock that's down, the Z95 and the B-Wing, I spend that to do my cluster missiles. I shoot them twice, and I end up hitting 3 times each time. And after Rich's evades, he ends up evading both times because he has 1 evade dice for each shot, but I end up sneaking 4 damage onto the B-Wing, which is very pivotal at this point. So you can see we cluster up all together. Rich misplays his moves. The HWK doesn't move up fast enough, causing the Y-Wing to hit into him, which stinks because this is Dutch Vander, and Dutch Vander needs to pass out those target locks to the B-Wing. because the B-Wing can shoot his torpedoes in 360, because that's the special rule. You can see I actually get a stress token off of these A-Wing up top after my movement, but I get a few more. So he's up to 3 stress at this point. But because of that stress, he's able to get a evade, a focus, and if he wanted to, he could boost or do his Devil's turn, but he didn't, so he only did those 2 actions. And then the Z95 to the right goes ahead and does his target lock onto the Y-Wing, so I'll be able to get rid of those cluster missiles also. So Tycho's in the best place. He's in range 1 of that Y-Wing, so he'll be able to use his focus to shoot his proton, and then use his target lock on. Well, his target lock is not on the Y-Wing, but either way, the proton torpedo is 5 attack dice at the Y-Wing. The Y-Wing only has his 1 agility, so it's going to be awesome. But the HWK is allowed to make somebody within, I don't know, range 1 or 2 pilot skill 12. Which he goes ahead. Rich is pretty clever here. He makes the B-Wing go first. Pilot skill number 12 for shooting. And he goes ahead and shoots his torpedo backwards at the A-Wing, at Tycho, because he can with Nera. And he goes ahead and scores 4 hits on me. So I've got 3 health points left, 1 shield, 2 hull, and an evade token. So I use my focus and my evade. I'm not going to be able to do my proton torpedo now, which is fine. But that leaves me with 1 hull point left, which sucks. And the worst thing is it is a critical hit, which ends up being 2 damage. So Tycho dies, which really, really sucks, which is probably going to be the game for me, or so I think. So all my cluster missiles are gone. The A-Wing ends up getting ionized by the Y-Wing with the turret. But to avenge Tycho's death, the Z95s go ahead and unload their shots. Just their regular 2 dice shots, or the one to the left here is at range 1, so 3 dice. And take out the HWK, so that's good. That's a good step in the right direction. The Y-Wing is pretty much at full health, because I'm sure the A-Wing shot the HWK too, because I wanted to focus fire. The B-Wing is pretty beat up, but the A-Wing's at full strength. The Y-Wing's at full strength, I mean. So the Y-Wing goes ahead to the asteroid, doesn't get hurt, which is good. The B-Wing's just kind of chilling out, moving along. And now we've got some target locks dropping, because now that Dutch Vander can use his ability, the B-Wing goes ahead and target locks the Z95, and Dutch goes ahead and target locks the A-Wing. You can see one of my Z95s does a K-turn, and the other one's just kind of scooping around and going after the B-Wing. So some shots were exchanged, but nobody dies at this point. Next round of movement, the B-Wing and the Y-Wing are just kind of tailing off. Doesn't matter, because they can still have their 360 shooting. The A-Wing does go ahead and hit the B-Wing, though, which is annoying. And the Z95's, the next one does a K, and the other one goes forward, just so I can get rid of the stress. And here's the last round of maneuvers. I'm actually able to get into a decent position, trailing behind the Y-Wing and the B-Wing. And the Z95 to the top goes ahead and finishes off the B-Wing. And the Z and A-Wing do not get, because the Y-Wing's still at full health, so they just finally start peeling away at him. But after the B-Wing dies from the Z95 on the top, Rich calls it, because the Z95 and the A-Wing are just going to slowly follow the Y-Wing and eventually just finish him off. But that's a good game. Victory to my Rebels, loss to Rich's Rebels, and next game hopefully I can try to get in a good one with Tycho again, with all that souped up 3-action BS, because I didn't really get to use him this game since the B-Wing shot him out of the sky. So hope you guys enjoy this X-Wing vid, and I'll see you in the next one.